Hi, this is a review of the Polar H7 heart rate sensor, the Bluetooth model. I will unbox it. Well, it's already been unboxed, but I'll show you what it contains in this box. I will describe the heart rate monitors, the straps. I will compare it to the older generation Polar, including some competitor belts, and I will then also demonstrate how to sync it to your cell phone, and then I'll discuss my experience of this item, including some of the technical aspects which one needs to consider before buying the belt, and whether it will be compatible with your phone, whether you're Android or Windows or whatever. Okay, so let's start with the unboxing. Okay, this is what the box looks like. It is small in size. Just to give you an idea of the size of the box, it's 9.5 centimeters by 17, and inside the box you're getting really just the instruction manual, quick start, and stuff like that. Now, looking at the unit itself, let's move these older belts away. The unit is as follows. You get a belt, you can choose, I think you can choose 3 colors. I think it's pink, blue and black. And then the Bluetooth clip-on or press, it's got press studs or buttons that you can push them onto the belt like that. The cool thing about this is that you can, if your belt is faulty, you can just get a new belt and press your heart rate monitor onto the new belt. There's no coding or serial numbers on the belt itself. The belt is a passive device, whereas this is the part that has the serial number and so on. In terms of the weight of this device, let's just weigh it, give you an idea of what it's going to weigh. You're looking at 26 grams, 25.8. Just to be sure, let's weigh another one. 25.6 grams. And comparing it to the older generation, the WearLink, if you're familiar with that one, it's the same weight, same packaging really. If you look closely, this is the older generation, the WearLink, and this is the H7. They literally look the same. The footprint is the same. It still has 2 press studs. It has the recesses here for the older belts, and this is an example of the older belt. The older belt had not that one, sorry. Here's an example of the older belt. Not well liked. Some people found this connecting system quite complicated. They didn't like this. It's got a bit of a feel like you're breaking it, but I didn't mind it. So if you do get a H7, the Bluetooth one, you can use your old belt. It's directional. You can't just put it in any direction. You can use your old belt and connect it like that, so that will work. And there I'm using the new H7 with my old 10-year-old belt. So that's why if you see these other recesses, that's what they're for. It's almost backward compatible. In terms of the quality, this is probably like a elastine or a neoprene. I have no problem. I've been using it now for a few months. The length of this, I will measure it at full extension. I'll measure it for you to get an idea. Okay, the measurement of the belt fully extended is 92 centimeters without pulling on the elastic capability. Obviously the belt is elastic, so if I stretch it out, I'm easily at 110, but that's at a stretch. The measurement of the conductive area is, you could call it 29 centimeters, and this is the conductive chest area. When you want to make it small, maybe you're a small person, then I've already got this blue one. I will make it extra tight, and now, you know, maybe you want to know if this will fit a child. Let's measure it on its absolute minimum length. Okay, that's probably the most you're going to get out of this, otherwise it's going to start to interfere with the conductive area. This will be the minimum that you can have it around a chest. It's a very small person now. Let's measure it at no elastic, meaning it's just at rest. It's 64 centimeters chest, and if I extend it a little bit, pulling on the elasticity, I can extend it easily 15, and I'm now at 75, and that'll be a good fit, quite tight. Remember, you can't really wear this thing at rest. It must be put on a little bit tight, otherwise it just slides off, especially if you're doing exercises, sit-ups or pull-ups, then it'll just slide down on your chest. So it needs to be a little bit tight. So keep in mind when you are using these measurements I'm giving you to realize that these are at rest, and then just be aware of the one when I'm at stretch. At stretch would be the useful amount. Okay, now in terms of compatibility, this is the FT7, the Bluetooth version of the Bluetooth heart rate belt, the H7, which is the review on, does work with this watch. I have been using it extensively. The one that it actually comes with is I think the F7 actually comes with the Wear Link, and I actually find that the H7 is more effective than the Wear Link, and that's actually why I got the belt, because my Wear Link was giving me more problems with the FT7 than the Bluetooth. So I'm very happy using the H7 with this watch than the Wear Link. And comparing it to some older devices, older belts, here we've got the Suntu. The Suntu is for me a very reliable belt. It's just it wasn't very comfortable. I know they have improved it now. This is an old one. Looking at the Timex, this was the Timex, also with the battery, user replaceable battery. Talking about the user replaceable battery, I will explain how to change the battery and explain to you about the details and the challenges of opening some of these. I'll show you some tricks. Now getting back to the other belts, the only real difference between these belts, and I have tried them all on, and I have a heart condition with irregular beats, they are within 10% of each other. I do find the Polar to be the most accurate, by the way, and really it just comes down to the fitting. Is it a circle? Is it an oblong, a long oval? Is it a square? That's really what it is. Right, in terms of the batteries for these different Polars, or whether you got the Timex or the Suntu, it's all the same principle. It's a user replaceable battery. Now the H7 is the same as the Wear Link in terms of changing the battery. What you need to do is at the back of the unit there is a user replaceable battery cover. It's got an arrow, it's got close and open. So go and get yourself a battery, a spare battery, replacement battery. Now it is a 2025, it's a CR2025, and I just wanted to make a comment about that. You can get the cheap batteries and okay, made in China, but that doesn't mean anything because everything's made in China. You can get the non-branded, non-specified battery. Okay, this is a 2032, but just for explanation purposes, it's not really a good brand. And then I have had some trouble. The good ones are Varta, Gold Peak, Renata, Panasonic, brands like that. They guarantee the performance of the actual lithium battery. So what you do is you take the battery, you wedge it into the gap, the recess here, you turn this. Sometimes can be quite tight. Now this is why I'm showing you this, because now I have it on the open and there's nowhere to put my finger or two. There's no like little recess here to put it open. I can hit it on the table. It just can't get this out, and that's why I've got this little guy here. I mean, if you've got a child or you do any drafting, you will damage it a little bit when you do this. But I mean, how else are you going to get this off? What I do use in order not to damage is a dental pick, and I insert it in the side here. And I don't mean to be disgusting, but you know, with the older belts, you know, dead skin and stuff used to get collecting here, and you know, like sweat, and it was very hard to get this off. You almost wanted to put boiling water here. You know, in these type of ones, you really get wedged here. But now with this type of belt, that's one of the benefits, is this guy, when you change the battery, is not full of dead skin and sweat and so on. So that is one of the benefits of this idea. Okay, so what we do is we just insert the pick in there, and then we're just gonna pull it up. And I'm still battling. Coming. There we go. It's now open. There is the battery. Can also be stuck in here, and you can just use the same pick. And that's all that's on the inside there. It tells you the battery. It actually tells you which battery to put in. It's a 2025. Here is the 2025. Don't put the battery in first. You put the battery in the lid like that, and then you put the lid back on. Whoops. And now it wants to be nice and easy to get out. And you align it where it says close. Or start with the open, you put this back. Now just a comment here, if you do have a 2032 such as this, my advice is don't install a 2032 in the 2025. Yes, they're the same voltage, but the thickness of the battery is the problem, and the 2032 is a high capacity. Voltage is the same, so technically it will work, but you're putting quite a lot of pressure on this end cap, this user replaceable cap, so it doesn't always close nicely. So this is the right battery. It's a 2025. You seat it in there. Make sure this rubber seal does not wedge itself through. So what's important, when you put this cover on, seat it in a even manner. There we go. Okay, now it is, you see the rubber it's an old one, it wants to come through, and there it's also coming through. I want to seat it nicely. What is the problem with this car? Right, there we go. And now what you need to do is you make sure it's flush. You take your old battery that you changed, and you turn it until it says close, and that's that. Now we come to the part of the review where I show you about the syncing it to the cell phones, whichever you're using. Now I'm going to use this phone. I'm going to show the MiCoach feature. Right, now the second part of this is to demonstrate the pairing of the Polar to your phone. Now one of the important features is, before you buy this, is will the Bluetooth sync with the phone, because when you use this H7, you do not have to have the device, because the app can can record your heart rate and your GPS and your route and so on, and you don't actually need the watch. The watch just is an extra. So that actually just reminds me that this uses Bluetooth and the normal, it's probably FM, to send the heart rate data to and fro from the watch. So this is a multi, whereas this one is only using the RF, probably the FM option to send the data. So this is probably why this one is so much more expensive, is it is backward compatible with this watch, which has no Bluetooth. So if you're asking, will this work with this, it does. Right. Now the point of the Bluetooth is for the phones. So what you would need to do is to pair it. Now you can see two Polar H7s have been found on this phone. If you want to know what this is, the F810, you can see that ID sits there. There it says the H7 blah 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 810, that is this one, and the one that I'm currently wearing is the 8451. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just swap them, because the one is already paired. And let's see, the ID here, yes, is 8451A, so that is that one. So if I wanted to pair it, I would just tap it, let's say pairing, and once it's paired, you know the drill. Now in terms of the app, in terms of this phone, interesting. Okay, in terms of the app, now this phone is set up with the MiCoach. So it's quite simple. In the app, you've just got to tell it to connect to the device. So in this app, it says devices. It's already there paired. The H7, it says the 810. That's the serial number, which is the one I'm currently wearing. If I want to add another one, you just add it, or one for your foot, for the steps, and so on. Right. So all you need to do is start your training. And you should see the heart rate displayed on the phone. That's my current heart rate at the moment, 75. So with the H7, it allows you to get the details on your app. Then you do not need to run with a phone or whatever you want to use. Now you need to run with the phone. You do not need to run with a watch. Excuse my mistake there. Now, the thing is, here's another phone. It's a Samsung. It is also a Windows phone, but it's irrelevant. The point is, this does not work with this phone. And the only difference between this phone and that phone in terms of Bluetooth is this is version 3 and this is version 4. So if you want to be guaranteed that your H7 will work, check that the Bluetooth spec of your phone is version 4.0 or better, 4.1, and that I believe is for the low energy when devices are connected for long periods of time. Whereas this phone is still version 3, and unfortunately I can pair the device, but I can't do anything once it's paired. It just does not work. So that is something to be aware of, is will your device be compatible? Alright, so that brings me to the end of this video. I've just remembered one last thing I didn't do is actually measure the weight of the belt itself, and I think that's also a very important thing, is how heavy is it to wear this this belt and the dongle, the Bluetooth dongle together. So the belt, let's put the belt on there. The belt is 30 grams, 29.18. With the Bluetooth piece, it takes it to 55 grams. That's what you're wearing on your chest. And if you compare that to maybe just the watch, you're looking at 30 grams, and maybe you're the fan of the Fitbit. This is the Fitbit HR. That weighs 27 grams. So that just gives you an idea. Anyway, thanks for watching. I do recommend this H7. It for me is the best heart rate monitor belt combo that I have used to date, and it is compatible with other apps and devices. You can check the compatibility list on Polar's website. Thanks for watching.